In this episode, I want to talk about music NFTs and the actual use cases that we have today. It's not theoretical. What can musicians, what can artists do with the NFT technology, with the Web3 technology today? This is what I want to pursue in this episode. It's dear to my heart. My brother is a musician, and for some reason I really feel drawn to this topic because I want to have the challenge to, okay, what can you actually do with NFTs today to help those people? And I think that's a challenge we need to face as an industry and should take on head first. And so let's do that in this episode. Okay, so I'm not going to go into detail and explain what an NFT is. I assume you already know that. If not, feel free to check it out online. There's great videos on it for sure. And so I think when talking about music NFTs, first of all, it's an NFT. You know, the NFT, the technology doesn't care if it's music or if it's an image. So there's no such thing as a music NFT. It's just an NFT that's used for music purposes. And I think what's important to understand is that the big change that NFTs can bring and that blockchain technology and NFTs bring is, it's severalfold, but let's focus on ownership and scarcity. And I think scarcity is even more important here for musicians, for artists to understand. The world we know today, Web 2, there is no digital scarcity. That's why we kind of went into this rabbit hole that didn't work out great for many people, which was, digital music being shared and being bootlegged. Yeah, basically, that was the way to consume music. You would do it without paying. You would use sites like Napster, which was this sharing thing where you just download any music, any MP3 file. And yeah, that was a big problem for the industry. Now it's streaming, and we see that it doesn't work for many, many artists. Actually, for most artists, this model of compensation doesn't really work. I think it's important for musicians, and this is dear to my heart because my brother is a musician. It's important to look further. Okay, can I change the system? Maybe, maybe not. But what else can I do? Because the uncomfortable fact is probably that just making music, which is a great thing in and of itself, but it's not enough to make a living for most. You need to make a music and maybe be good at creating a community and or sell something in order to really make a good living and support yourself. And I think NFTs can play a good role here. And as I mentioned before, digital scarcity is a key factor here because fans of musicians, they want to collect things. And collecting things makes a whole lot more sense and fun, or is more fun when it's scarce, right? Like if there's a trillion things, like for example, sand, we're not collecting sand. There's so much sand, like it's not really worth collecting. Maybe it's not visually pleasing or anything, but the point being, there's an infinite amount, almost, obviously not, but it seems like, and so we don't collect. But if something is rare, if you can express your fandom, if you can express your support of someone by owning one of the 10 only posters that ever came out by this band, or that the very first 10 posters or anything, or CDs or vinyl records, now we're talking. That's what people are doing, and they do it physically. And with NFT technology, we have the opportunity to do that also digitally. And it's actually quite fun, because in my mind, our world is very much digital. Like everything we do is digital, or many things we do. And to be honest, for my own example, like how well I'm progressing in my career is very much a function of my digital presence. And so this is nothing to sneeze at, it's very real, the digital. And so where I want to get to is, like collecting things digitally, I think that's gonna be huge. Maybe it already is. To me, it already is. I have many NFTs. I also have a music NFT, which isn't working out so great, but we get to this in a bit. But that makes sense. And it's, I think, a nice evolution here. It makes sense to me that you collect something and that you want to show other people that you interact with digitally that you're a collector of something. You want to express yourself. Yes, I'm also a fan of this artist, and that's why her digital collectible and her music NFT. And the cool thing in the digital world, it's much easier to show it, right? Like if you have a nice coffee table book, people would probably have to be in your living room to really see it, or you take a picture of it or anything, but it's very indirect in terms of digital collect. It's actually, for example, your Instagram profile already allows to attach a wallet in which you can show your collectibles. And so it's much easier. And the platform Sound XYZ, which is worth checking out. It's probably one of the leading music NFT platforms. And they also play with this, like you buy this NFT and you can have your name put up there. And if you were the first one to buy it, your name stands there. There's a ranking here. Maybe you have the most of those NFTs. And so now you can show your fandom. And I don't think this is, like monetizing everything and this is capitalism to the max. There's a certain aspect of it, but it's also people get enjoyment from doing this. You're not trying to sell them something that's worthless for $1 million. You say, okay, this has a sentimental value to you. This is a way of supporting me, and that's what people want to do. I want to support people that I care about or people that I admire and everything. That's very natural. And so I think NFTs often will make it easier for people to support you. It will be this thing that you can buy, give me a product and I buy it, like there's this artist and you love her voice and how she sings and everything. You watch her YouTube videos and that gets her a couple of views. But I mean, like other than sending her money directly, there's nothing for you to buy. And so I think digital collectibles could be really a good way for many musicians, many artists to create something that's kind of tangible. It's digital, but it's tangible, that people can buy and show their support. And very concretely, a digital collectible, let's say you want to start small. You don't have to bring out a collection of 10,000 art pieces or album covers of your next song or anything, but you can say, okay, do I have 10 super fans? Do I have 100 super fans? Let's create something for them. Let's bring out the next song, the next album, and have this alternative cover, have it be a digital collectible, an NFT, and you sell it for $20, for $50 or something, and go from there and say, okay, this is a collectible of us. There's nothing attached here, but we plan on maybe creating a community around it, because it turns out it's really easy to create communities around digital tokens and also around ownership in general, right? Like there's all those clubs around old timers or rare watches, rare wine, or anything where you have scarcity and where you have this collecting aspect of it. And so, it's not that complicated. I get asked often by musicians or by other people, how complicated is it to bring out those 100 NFTs for your super fans? Not complicated at all anymore. Like it's similar to setting up a newsletter or something. There is some technical aspects, but it's very much in the Web 2 space. Okay, you have an email, you have some things you need to enter, and then you test it, and here we go. And also in terms of the cost, it's not expensive at all. It depends on the blockchain you choose, but even Ethereum, the main blockchain for NFTs, for many things, it's not that expensive anymore. You can probably mint 100 NFTs for under $50 easily. And so that is one way already where you can, I think, really start creating things people can collect around you, and that people give them a chance to buy something from you. because that's often a challenge, especially with very young, with very undeveloped artists, where you don't have the songs you can buy somewhere, or the merch, or whatever. And a digital collectible could be that something. And this is where it starts. The fun part about NFTs is that you can always reference them. It's not like a digital ticket where an email was sent or anything. It's on the blockchain. The people have an ownership aspect of it, and you can always see which wallet has this token in it. And by the way, everyone can. So if you do a collaboration with some other artist, they can also say, oh yeah, people that have your 100 digital collectibles, they all also can mint our digital collectible, which will be a bigger edition, or it's a collaboration of us two singing in this song. Off you go. Off you create this network effect. You create a little ecosystem around you. That can be a lot of fun, because you can do so many things with NFTs. You can say, okay, let's create a token-gated community. Everyone that has the token is part of the chat, can get into that community. You can say VIP access to your next event or something, or you get a free ticket. That's what I've been seeing artists do, to say, okay, I'm bringing out this digital collectible. If you have a really rare one, you can have different rarities, right? Let's just say you have this album cover and now you have a golden frame around it. So this is more rare than the other ones. There's only 5 of them. And so now you can say, okay, those are the ones that get a VIP ticket to our next concert. And there's so many ways you can play around with this. And so I think that's a really a win for artists, is a digital collectible. There's not much expectation attached here. NFTs can be a lot of speculation. That's how it started. I think last year when I entered the space, it was, or was it even, 2021. It was over. It wasn't last year. The year before it all happened so far. It was all speculation. Is this going up and be worth more in the next hour, in the next minutes even? That's kind of gone in the market, which is nice. And now it's about, okay, what do I get for this digital collectible? What do I get for it? And what you get is the so-called utility. And here you can, say, okay, this is maybe access to a ticket, to a VIP ticket or something. It's up to you. The only thing you don't want to promise, there's this thing where you move into the territory of creating a security, meaning that you promise a return here. You promise, like, what you probably shouldn't do is, and always consult your lawyer. I'm not one. This is not legal. You shouldn't promise, you get some kind of revenue from my next album or something. There will be a way to structure this, and I think that there could be a beautiful way of crowdfunding and everything. But with an NFT, you don't want to promise that return, because otherwise you start creating a security, and you definitely don't want to do this. And so by creating a collectible, you say, hey, you can collect this a community here, feel free to join. And also you can say, this is specifically for getting free tickets to my concerts. That's fine, because you're selling something directly, but you don't promise this is going to be worth more at some later point. And so, I think this summarizes the topic of digital collectibles. Hopefully, made it concrete. I see this today. I see you don't need crypto native fans, to sell it to, because the technology is easy enough for you to, if you want to pay in crypto for an NFT, fine. If you want to use your credit card, no problem here, or in your email address instead of a wallet. That's all been solved. No need to be scared off by this kind of stuff. And also your customers, your fans, they don't have to be digital natives and all this. They need to know how to use an email address, a credit card, and that's about it. And so I think the real point is how you engage them, how you can explain this, how you are positioning yourself with the technology. Like, is that something that you really value, that you think you can bring into your creation process, that actually adds to you as an artist? And if that's something something you want to pursue, I think NFTs are a great thing. You don't have to do them. There's other ways, but I definitely see a future here, because our world is moving more digital every day. And so I think those kind of assets will be will be the new way to interact in the digital world. That's also when I consult with my branding clients, or some sports soccer player I consult. Like, you wanna create, if you already, in the future, if more and more people move into Web3 and this is a platform where you try to find people and maybe even advertise to, as the world always does, right? How can you reach people? If you already established yourself in Web3 and a concert comes along, a festival says, yeah, we're doing this NFT ticket, what's your community? And then you say, okay, I have 10,000 Instagram followers. Okay, not bad. Yeah, can you do the traffic shift? But when you say, okay, yeah, I have already 5,000 holders of my NFT, you work on the same level already. So this is future talk. This is not today, but just looking there, I think can give you some advantages. Obviously, it positions yourself as an artist that's adapting the future and that's working with it. And for me, there's really no scam going on here. Like, the scam is the people. That scam is not the technology. And so I think that's really hard to get out of heads, because we've been bombarded with all those news about scams in the NFT market and stuff. And there have been those scams, but the technology itself is not a scam. So if you're not a scammer as an artist, you can create real value. And there's nothing bad about it, right? If you sell something for $50, that's valuable, that's rare, that's maybe even gets the people a t-shirt or an entry into a concert, that's great. People love it, they want to buy something from you, they want to collect something from you, and you give them a chance to do that. So that's really a win-win here. And yeah, I don't want this episode to get too long. I think there's other aspects of music NFTs that are really interesting. Creating a community is the main part. And when I researched the topic, like, that's what struck me also was, there's no social layer on Spotify. Like, it's a very direct way of consuming the content, like your music, but there's no interaction. You don't know who's listening to your songs on Spotify, and they don't have a chance to write you or like chat with you on Spotify. And so I think there's a real chance to add this. And Sound XYZ and those kind of platforms, they try to do this. And I think it's really, really interesting. I think there's really something there. Like, I'm very critical of this. Like, do we need this? Because convenience always wins, right? Like, if streaming is more convenient, and it is, and Spotify is incredibly convenient, the masses are gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. But add a social layer, like add this, hey, you can actually chat with the artist. Like, this is cool. You can co-create. If it is, then I think you get closer to what music can be, and you create a better or a stronger experience. People still can choose to listen to your song on Spotify, but they also have the option to engage with you further. And that's really nice for many people, because I personally know, wow, wouldn't it be nice if I could interact with this person? I so much enjoy the music of her. And I think that's what NFTs represent, a real good opportunity to increase that engagement, to add a social layer here. And it doesn't mean this is not making streaming obsolete. It's just, how can you create a real community, not a Instagram fan community? There's something to it, but once you add this element of digital collectible, of ownership, hey, I'm the owner of one of your rare music NFTs, then you create something new that we haven't had before. And that's pretty cool, because it's hard for people that don't own NFTs to get the concept. I guess for younger generations, I'm 35, so for people in their teens and everything, I think there's so much used to digital stuff and like things. Oh yeah, I have this skin in Fortnite. Yeah, oh, he has the skin in Fortnite. Like, digital things are very real, just as real as we have a watch or anything. And this is what I also experience as someone that has a bunch of NFTs and collects them and has fun with them. And I think that's really out there also for your fans. And yeah, there's this aspect. So we have community, which I don't think I want to go into deeper, maybe some other time. But NFTs are great for that, and they're proven that they're great for that. Like it's not a concept, but we see communities forming around NFTs in the hundred thousands, and I'm part of many of those communities, and it actually works very well. It's a very strong bond, and it works really good. So the theory is not crazy sexy in my opinion. Oh yeah, community, wait, I already have a community on Instagram and everything. But practically, creating a community around NFTs does work like magic, because you have this common thing you own. Maybe you also have an interest as this thing you own gets more valuable, right? And so there's such a beautiful alignment of incentives, of interests here, where you have, okay, we have this precious community of 1,000 people that own that NFT of a musician. And this community is precious to us. We have a lot of value here. And also, yeah, maybe we see, okay, other people want to join. And so that drives up the price of the asset, right? It's more desirable to be in it. And so, okay, if we really cherish this community and add value to it, it increases the value of the asset, which increases the value I hold, which is a nice bonus. It doesn't have to be that way. As I mentioned before, NFTs are kind of, in general, past this, is it going to be worth more tomorrow? And we're more evolving towards, what's it worth to me today? And I would like to be part of something. And this is a membership card. This is a collectible I can get around to be part of that. And so I think maybe this helps you as an artist, and maybe this can also help you as a brand or as someone, working in Web3, because I really think this is where we need to go, and where we can start thinking in a Web3 way and make good products, make good NFT collections that just make sense, add value. And that's really what you want to do. Maybe some closing words here. Like, the people you sell the NFTs to, if you're an artist, if you're a small artist, those are your super fans. That's not the place to make a quick buck here. This is where you cherish, nourish that relationship with those people. If they're 10, if they're 100, if they're 1,000, if they're 10,000. This is so important. And so it's often maybe a good way to give out digital collectibles for free and let them appreciate in value over time, maybe, if people are interested in collecting them. You don't need to make money with the first sale of NFTs, and also not music NFTs. You can, but no need. And this is what I always tell brands, the purchase, the sale of NFTs, when you say, I'm bringing out this collection and you sell it, that's the start of the relationship. That's not the end. It's not thanks for shopping here. This is thank you for joining this journey together. And that's a beautiful thing. And NFTs are a great technology to do that. There's probably other technologies as well. But I can tell from experience, from almost 2 years in the space, that it does work. It does bring people along. And it does create this sense of community, of belonging, of a common thing you're interested in, that you love. And so that's, I think, what I want to leave you with. I hope it was helpful to you. This was more of a deep dive into a specific topic. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to leave me a like, to subscribe, and I will see you next week. I have an exciting guest, and we will be talking about tokenomics, which is a really cool. And so have a good weekend. I see you next week.